You're watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney, Southwest Florida's retirement television. He's an author, a radio host, a fiduciary, and Southwest Florida's premier investment advisor. Here is Senior Investment Advisor Eric Kearney.
And welcome to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Eric Kearney of Retirement Wealth Advisors. Eric, how are you today?
I'm great, Cynthia. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's always a pleasure to see you, and I'm so excited to be in the studio with you today.
As am I.
Oh, good. Well, today I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you on more of a personal level. I know, obviously, the business has grown so much for you, and obviously the television show is doing so well. People are listening, and they're really calling in with different viewer questions. But the past 12 to 18 months specifically, they've been a little more tumultuous than normal.
Yeah.
How have you been navigating through those times with your clients?
Boy, that's to say the least, right? I mean, these past 12 to 18 months, what have you seen? You've seen interest rate changes, inflationary issues. You have all this political infighting that is, quite frankly, dividing the country. There's no doubt about that. You also still have Russia and Ukraine issues. You have supply and demand issues. And the volatility in the markets have been all over the place. So this is, Cynthia, where, we've been over communicating with our clients. But there's also a lot of people out there who have been very frustrated with their current financial situation. So you can see everything that's happening out there. People want to change, and they want to know that they're being heard. And I think a lot of investors out there are not feeling heard right now. So that's what we've been seeing for the past 12 to 18 months right now.
Absolutely. And what do you specifically do to help your clients through these difficult times, obviously with the volatile markets, if you will, and the ever-changing economy?
Yeah.
That was the English version of what I wanted to say.
That's right. That's right. So how do you get through a difficult market? You have to be strategic. You have to be tactful. You have to communicate with your clients. You also have to be proactive. Over communicating is not a bad thing, because what we're hearing from a lot of investors right now is, my advisor's not reaching out to me. I haven't heard from them. I don't know what's going on. And the interesting thing about all this, Cynthia, is that we've actually been very proactive. And so we've moved an awful lot of assets either into money market positions or cash positions, which have allowed us to actually go back in and buy more shares at a lower price. And so when you dollar cost average back in, you actually have that portfolio able to survive another day. And that's what our clients are looking for us. And there's a lot of people that are getting tired of not being communicated with. There's no transparency. And, the past 12 to 18 months has not been easy for a lot of people. So it's definitely been a very busy year, but, we've been all over it.
Absolutely. And Eric, obviously, you've been in the industry since 2001. So I have to ask you, what have you learned about yourself during this process of helping others navigate their own financial wealth?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, we started working with a more sophisticated, a more affluent client. We realized that as their net worth increases, now all of a sudden their positions become more complex. And now all of a sudden you want to start to implement more strategies, more sophisticated strategies. And what happens is that client wants to know that there's that financial infrastructure in place, that you're actually being surrounded by a financial plan, an income plan, a tax plan, also a wealth management plan. So are you considering all these complex issues that are coming down the pike? So we don't see a slowdown in that, Cynthia. I mean, this has been going on for well over a decade now. And with the past 12 months, these past 12 to 18 months were not unpredictable. Yeah. But yet there's a lot of advisors who drop the ball, and we're seeing that a lot out there. So I think that I've had to learn a lot about myself and how to give these clients what they need. And I think a lot of people deserve that their advisors has their A game. Every morning we're getting up and we're really reaching out to our clients and trying to provide them everything that they need. And I think that a lot of the clients really do appreciate that. And I mean, our attrition has been incredibly low. And if anything, our referral business has been through the roof.
So obviously, Eric, you are so passionate about communication, which I know that really sets you apart from so many different advisory firms, because we've talked about this in the past. A lot of times advisors will hide when things go wrong, but you're the first one to step up and say, you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's communicate about it. So let me ask you a question. With that in mind, what are some top concerns that your clients have right now?
Nobody wants to lose their lifestyle, right? We've become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. We've worked hard for it. We want to make sure that we're respecting that client's money, their lifestyle, and also inflation and taxes. So again, people are concerned about losing that lifestyle. And there's a lot of people that come in, they're an affluent client, and they've sacrificed or they've built a business up over the years, and they say, Eric, look, I'm going to work with you, but here's the deal. I don't care what the market does. This is your problem. So now we're seeing people more than ever that want solutions. They actually want to understand what we're actually going to do for them. That's where the proactive side, the strategic side, the tactful side comes in, and you're communicating to them. And I think what's more important about all of this is that when there are issues out there, even though it's obvious, we're communicating to our clients that we are aware of them. Look, I understand inflation has been bad. I understand that interest rates have wreaked havoc in the fixed income world. As obvious as it is, we're still letting them know that we are wide aware of them. And so we also present to them how we're going to get through it. You know, and any time it's just an elongated conversation, and sometimes it's over and over and over, but you really want to drive home to that client that they're going to be okay.
So obviously your long-term clients have a sense of calmness because they've been working with you so long and they know everything is going to be just fine.
Right.
What guidance do you have for people that are perhaps in the viewing audience today that are thinking about picking up the phone? What words of wisdom would you give to those folks today?
My advice would be, do you have an intimate financial relationship with your advisor? Do you really feel like they're actually listening to you? Do they return your emails? Do they return your phone calls? Are you seeing them on a regular basis? Are they surrounding you with a built financial plan that's geared towards your lifestyle? Because what we're seeing right now is everybody's concerned about the world's economy or the U.S. domestic economy. I only care about my client's economy. And if we know that they're going to be okay, that's what the client wants to know. So again, we've done a lot of free appointments. People are coming in, they're sitting down with us, and they'll tell me, Eric, I've been overwhelmed up to this point. I've seen you guys on TV for quite some time, but I'm overwhelmed about my situation. There's also a lot of people that are worried about their situation. So what we're doing is that we're inviting people to come in and say, look, let's just sit down, have a conversation, and see if we can put you in a better position.
Eric, I should ask you, for that first consultation, how long does that typically take with a new client?
It usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, we get a lot done. We've been very prepared. So when people come in, we actually put them through a process. And that's the one thing that people really like about our firm. We're putting you through a process. We understand that purpose determines placement. So we want to know what your situation looks like first before we even talk about investments. How many times have people gone into an advisor's office and all they're talking about is investments? If all you're trying to do is perform your way through retirement and you kind of put financial planning on the back burner, that's not a good way to think about it. There are so many sides to financial planning that all come together. And so a lot of times we're explaining how many pieces of the puzzle are actually in retirement planning, and people are kind of blown away because they'll say to me, Eric, I never knew that there were so many sides to this. And I actually think that there's a lot of people out there that are overpaying for services because they don't have a financial plan, they don't have a tax solution, they don't have an income plan. They don't understand if they're outpacing inflation or not. And so we're just seeing a lot of issues out there that we've been able to correct.
Eric, thank you so much. We have to open up the phone lines in just a moment. Would that be okay?
Excellent.
All right. To our viewers at home, the number to call is on your screen. That number is 800-779-1942. We know that you're in the viewing audience today, and perhaps you have a lot of questions for Eric about how to plan your perfect retirement, how you can get through these tumultuous times in the market, if you will. He has the answers for you. He's offering you a complimentary consultation. All you have to do is take advantage of calling in today to the number 800-779-1942. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, I'm going to go more in depth with Eric when we return.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, uninterrupted rounds at the golf course? Or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams? Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you. They'll do exactly that by going over your current strategy to expose the weaknesses that may exist in your retirement portfolio. Plus, they'll explain potential risks and possible strategies to you in easy-to-understand terms and help get you reacquainted with your portfolio and income strategy. Once they understand your retirement goals, objectives, and dreams, they'll work to custom build a retirement plan to help ensure that you cannot outlive your income in retirement. Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
And welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined, of course, by Eric Kearney of Retirement Wealth Advisors. Eric, an amazing show we're having today, talking about you a little bit more in depth and a little more personal. So on a side note, I have known you for, I'm losing track of the years, I'm going to say about 3 years now. And you are always extremely positive and extremely optimistic. Let's talk about where does that come from? Because you have such a caring and serving heart, but you're also just so happy all the time. So let's talk about your happiness.
Well, you know, there's a lot of times where we've been able to help out an awful lot of people, and it really gets very emotional with what we do. We've seen people go through very good times and also very difficult times. And it's really been the strategic financial planning that gets someone through something, a difficult time financially. There's nothing we can really do about emotionally or physically, right? Mm-hmm. But if we can help somebody get through something financially, whether it's a sick child or a sick parent or the loss of a job or something like that, we've been strategic and we thought about this. And I'm not looking through everything through rose-colored glasses, right? And I don't want everybody to think that I'm an eternal optimist. I'm actually more like a serious possibilist, right? We believe in strong possibilities that are out there. And so when it comes to this, we have to think ahead. We have to forecast. And with a past year like this, everyone is looking at day to day. They're struggling to get month to month, right? They're like, how am I just going to get through the month with the bills and everything that are coming through? And then all of a sudden you want me to worry about retirement planning? Right. So a lot of times what we're doing is we're saying, okay, let's set a good course for you, something that is sustainable, something that has longevity. And a lot of times we're trying to delete the emotion out of that. And a lot of times through these markets, the emotions come raging out of here. But what happens is when you have a volatile market, there's 30 to 40,000 different things that you can buy out there. So what we're doing is we have morphed into more cash positions. We have morphed into more money market positions, protecting the value of the accounts. And so what people are seeing now is they're like, okay, now I'm starting to understand money management. I've never had this before. It was always set it and forget it. Here's the problem that I have with set it and forget it. The contrarian inside of me says, well, your advisor's telling you that all of your holdings are going to bounce back. My thing is, Cynthia, what if they don't? Right. I mean, what if it doesn't get you back out of the hole? And then what? So this is where we really have to take asset allocation. We're going to talk later in the next few weeks about a portfolio recovery strategy that I actually pioneered myself. It came out of necessity. It's an actual need that people have. So when the markets get difficult and tumultuous and go into their tizzy, you want your advisor to know that there's actually a strategy out there. And this is something that I take very personal. I have an amazing certified financial planner, Donna Crone. I have Joseph, I have Autumn, and I have this massive back office that we work with on a regular basis. But every single client that comes to the front door, I'm telling them, your financial responsibilities fall on my shoulders, not anyone else. because I'm the one that puts through the end result for that.
Yeah.
So I'm responsible for that lifestyle that you have. And so there is a lot of work, but there's also processes in there. And it's not always perfect. And I like to say that, it's better to be vaguely right than precisely wrong.
True.
And, and I think financial planning is like a baseball season. It's very long. And I think that we get it right significantly more than we get it wrong. And that's why we've been able to put people in such a great position. So I like to be optimistic, but it's also a lot of work. I'm tired.
Well, I can't tell that you're tired because you're always happy. You always have so much energy. And again, your positive outlook is just so refreshing.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, too, how is it a benefit to your clients and to your prospective clients to work with an independent advisory firm versus, let's just say, a big box retail store,
right,
if you will?
I mean, more than ever, there's been a huge migration, almost a desperation for real financial planning. People want accountability. They want transparency. They want communication. And quite frankly, people are getting tired of being passed around from advisor to advisor to advisor on these big box firms. People want to come in, and again, they want to have that intimate financial relationship with someone. So again, I've had the same team for years, and like I said, we work very well as a working family. And so the thing is that when the client comes in, they're still seeing the same people over and over again. And there's a lot to be said for that. Because like I said, there's a lot of times where people say, oh, I switched my advisors, or the assistant's gone, or there's this other person. People don't want that. They want to know that we're going to be around for a very long time. They also want to know that we understand their financial situation, because again, their situations get more complex. And so we have to be there for them. So, we get offers all the time to go with big box firms and go somewhere else. I mean, every single year. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a fiduciary by license and law. We have to put that client in the best position. We're independent. We have access to almost every single product out there. We're not going anywhere.
Eric, what advice do you have to folks at home that are perhaps nervous to make a change? Let's talk a little bit about a second opinion. If they're currently with someone that's more of the big box broker, if you will, what advice do you have for them?
So interestingly enough, in 2020, which is 3 years ago now, which is crazy to me, when COVID was rampant, you had a lot of people who were frustrated with their advisor. Their advisors weren't going into the office. Their advisors were hiding underneath a desk. Now, I've said this, I've called out the financial industry for quite some time. But the bottom line is that no matter what, you have to go to work for your clients. If you took on the responsibility to manage their money, you have to be there for them in good times and bad times. There's a lot of people that have been watching this show for years now and say, Eric, I'm going to reach out to you because now I want a free appointment. I want to come in and see you. I'm a little overwhelmed. And there's a lot of people that say, I'm kind of embarrassed about my situation. And I say, don't be. We're here to try and put you in a better position. That really is our goal. And so we get excited when new people come in and say, hey, you know what, this took a lot for me to pick up the phone and call you. And I actually tell them that. Thank you for coming in. I'm very proud of you. Because anybody that wants to change their financial situation, we all want to assist them.
And boy, change is often the scariest thing for people because they're nervous about what that's going to feel like. But I know that they obviously have such peace of mind when they come into your office, Eric.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, this is the perfect time for us to reopen the phone lines. Would you agree?
I agree.
To our viewers at home, the number to call is on your screen. That number is 800-779-1942. We know that you're in the viewing audience today and that you have a lot of questions for Eric. Perhaps you're wondering if you're in the right place right now. Wouldn't it be a great idea to get a second opinion on your retirement plan? We know that you've worked your entire lives to get to the retirement years, and you do deserve to have the retirement of your dreams. You're being offered a complimentary consultation today, and all you have to do is pick up the phone and call in 800-779-1942. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. I have much more with Eric Kearney when we return.
Retirement Wealth Advisors, your investment providers.
What I enjoy most about retirement planning is sitting down with you and having real conversations about your retirement dreams and goals. We specialize in helping people just like you prepare for the retirement they've always dreamed of.
Retirement Wealth Advisors with Eric Kearney.
Hey, Southwest Florida. Thank you so much for watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. While we've had a lot of fun doing the show, and we always appreciate your comments, more importantly, we've been able to help out an awful lot of people meet their retirement needs. And believe me, I get it. A lot of you watching today are just as frustrated with the financial industry as I am. But at Retirement Wealth Advisors, we have a completely different experience. By license and law, we're looking to put your best interest first. So whether it's a financial plan that you're looking for, you're out there in a financial no man's land, or you're truly looking for a second opinion, please pick up the phone and give us a call today, and let's get that conversation started. And remember, strive for excellence. Your wealth deserves it.
And welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today, of course, by Eric Kearney of Retirement Wealth Advisors. Eric, a wonderful show we're having today, really getting into more of the personal side of you as well. So I want to ask you a question. Obviously, you're very proactive with how you handle your clients' finances. How is that a benefit to them with the style that you have for managing their retirement, if you will?
Right. So I think that there are a lot of people see us forecasting. And, you know, forecasting has a lot to do with the weather, but it also has a lot to do with your financial situation. So what people are looking for is when we do financial planning, when we do income planning, we're looking out 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years, even 25 and even 30 years. And Donna will sometimes go up to age 100, and people will actually laugh and say, I'm never going to make it to 100. But what if you do? And we get to a certain point, and this is the one thing is that we get to a certain point in our life where we feel financially vulnerable. We know that we can no longer go back to work. We've defined who we are financially, and whatever we have is what we have to work with. And so people have to understand that you have a pile of money, and over here's your lifestyle. How do we safely pull income from that to keep building up your lifestyle? Oh, yeah. And then we got taxes, and we have inflation, and we have market volatility. There's so many moving parts to this.
Yeah.
So forecasting actually is self-fulfilling to us because we understand where every single client is through the financial plan, through the income plan. And so we're constantly taking notes on that client so that we understand where they are. So again, if we see them and then all of a sudden we see them a month later because something has changed in their situation, we can sit down and say, okay, let's pull up the financial plan that we've built specifically for you, and let's take a look at that. And the nice thing is, even with this crazy market and everything, the financial plan lives online. It's a digital piece, so it's constantly updating through TD Ameritrade or Fidelity. I mean, how great is that?
That is.
So again, we understand where that client is, but more importantly, the client understands where they are. So our long-term clients, look at all the different things that we've been through. You had the tech wreck, you had 9/11, you had whatever that market meltdown was in 2008. You had December of 2018. A lot of people forget about that. I didn't, because we had to morph into a great deal of cash late December to watch out for the fall of the market. We actually quickly recovered, but again, we were very strategic, we were very proactive. You've had multiple corrections, multiple pullbacks. These markets have not been nice. The past 12 to 15 years, you've seen more volatility in these past years than ever before in history. Interest rates, yeah, they've been an issue. I hope your advisor took care of those, because we see a lot of bond funds that are absolutely investable. You see gold. Take a look at the 10-year. Take a look at the 10-year on silver. Look at the 10-year of the aggregated bond index. They're not pretty numbers. And now all of a sudden you have massive inflation. You're paying taxes on this stuff. People are realizing they're not in a great position, but their advisor has been dropping the ball. And there's a lot of very good advisors out there, I will say, but even the very good advisors realize that there's a lot of licensed salespeople out there who really don't know what they're doing. And when these markets fall apart, that's when we go to work even harder. And when the markets are going up, we're like, okay, what's going to happen when they're not going up?
Yeah.
Right? We're not sitting back and saying, oh, good, the market's going up, I can go home early today. No, it's actually when they fall, are you prepared for that? So we've been proactive, we've forecasted, we've foreshadowed, we're looking into the future and saying, okay, how can we rebalance? How can we take profits? How can we reduce your market exposure? And so people are constantly worried about income, constantly worried about running out of money. We have to be there. All of these financial facets that are there, we are actually taking a look at and and considering all of those. And I mean, there's so many moving parts that it's fun to do. It's challenging, right? And that's where I like going into that, because I think our team is one of the best. I want to thank all of my staff members. We are a little work family. I mean, we gripe and complain with each other, but we love each other. And like I said, it is a great fit, but it also benefits the client greatly. You know, Autumn actually understands me. You know, like if I'm going off on a tangent, she's like, okay. You know, like she knows how to bring me back down a little bit. So the relationship that we have there truly does benefit the client in the long run, because we do have a passion for trying to put that particular client in a better financial position, pay attention to them, and know that we're going to be around for a very long time.
Eric, I should also ask you, obviously, with everything that you've helped your clients navigate through this year, has politics played a role at all? Let's talk about that a little bit, because people were really nervous about certain things. So I want to ask you overall, what are you seeing? What's going on right now?
It's, you know, I don't get political. I really don't. Because here's the whole thing. I've been through many administrations in the past 22 years, and we've seen everything. We have to manage money according to the administration. And so many people are convinced, well, if this person was in office, things would be better. If this person wasn't in office, we'd be better. I don't care. There's nothing I can do. You can only control so much of what happens there, right?
True.
This is a great country. We have the ability to vote. And so what we're looking at is politics do play a role, but I'm not going to allow that to get in the way of us managing money. You know, you've got midterms. I mean, everybody's like, oh, midterms are going to change everything. Well, they didn't. I mean, you know, there's still a lot of political unrest. And now all of a sudden you have the presidential election coming up soon. So now everybody's going to be focused on that.
Right.
Here's the thing about politics. If it's not politics, it's another problem. And you know, when we were going through COVID, everybody's like, oh, COVID, this is going to end the world, the food shortage. It didn't happen.
Right.
We kept financial planning. We stayed proactive. We got through that. We actually had a pretty good year in 2020, right? It was actually a very good year. So the bottom line is that there's always going to be an event, whether it's political, apolitical, whatever it may be. If you know that your financial planner is getting you through this and you're communicating with them again, and that you're aware of the situation, there really shouldn't be an issue. You're never going to always like who's in office. And so the thing is that I put that aside and I'm like, okay, what is real? And we have to prepare for eventualities and probabilities. That's what we're looking at. And so everybody's always worried about something different. And that's where I brush it off.
Well, Eric, thank you so much for another amazing episode this week. I've learned so much about you, and I think we've shared a lot with the viewers at home as well.
I agree.
To our viewers at home most specifically, we would like to take this time to thank you for spending time with us today. That number to call is 800-779-1942. We know you have a lot of questions for Eric. He has the answers for you. Please don't miss the opportunity to call in and book that complimentary consultation. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today on Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney.
Hey, Southwest Florida, thank you so much for watching today's show. If anything's resonated with you today, or you're really looking for that second opinion, give us a call today. If you're serious about your finances, we're serious about working with you.
Remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. Have a great week and an even better retirement.